Generation 6 was magical, at least to me. Now off rip, Gen 6 isn't even my favorite generation. My personal favorite is Gen 4, but I think Generation 5 is like the overall best experience. Yes, I was born in 1999, thank you so much for asking. So you may be wondering, why am I making a video on Generation 6 of all of them? Well, the honest answer is, with the 3DS Online being shut down and me recently transferring all of my Pokemon into Pokemon Home, at least at the time of this recording, it got me thinking back on the whole 3DS era of Pokemon, and despite, thinking that Gens 3 to 5 are like almost peak Pokemon, a lot of my favorite memories actually stem from Generation 6. So I'm just going to go over like 4 or 5 of my main points. I can't remember if it is 4 or 5, but I'll timestamp it either way, and they'll be the main reasons why I love this gen. So we'll get the most obvious one out the way. Mega Evolution. Mega Evolution was just objectively cool. It had brilliant designs. I think it was such a fun gameplay mechanic, and how took up the whole item, and it gave me some of my favorite Pokemon designs I have. It gave so many Pokemon an extra boost that they needed. Yes, there were Pokemon that got a boost that really didn't need it, but it's nothing felt as satisfying to use. And granted, I've not played Gen 8 or 9, but Dynamax and Terastallizing looks quite cool, but Dynamax just seemed kind of dull, and Z moves were awful. It was just objectively fun to use. I think most people agree with that. I'm ecstatic that it's back in Pokemon Legends ZA. I cannot wait to see what they bring. It's so objectively cool to the point that my 5-year-old daughter, who has never played a Pokemon game, likes Mega Evolutions. She's got my old Pokemon encyclopedia that I got as a Christmas present one year, and one of her favorite pages in the book is Megas. She's never played a game and she just likes Megas. They're just that objectively cool. Next, customization, which obviously isn't unique to Gen 6, it was the first one to do so, but man, I just fucked with the clothing choices in Kalos. I just much preferred it. And once again, not played Gens 8 or 9, but at least from what I've seen, I just preferred the designs in Kalos. The only problem is that it was French. And especially just comparing Alola to Kalos, I had way more fun customizing my character in Kalos than I did in Alola. Next, and this one cannot be overstated, the PSS. Now, as I keep saying, don't know how Gen 8 or 9 do it, but the PSS just worked. It was so simple and easy to use, and if it wasn't that easy, I probably wouldn't have played the millions of games I played with my friends. And Gen 7 fucked it all up. I can say with a pretty strong degree of certainty that the fucking PLAZA in Generation 7 was one of the biggest contributing factors why myself and 2 of my friend groups stopped playing Pokemon, at least for that time, some of them for good. It was so awful, the fact that it was such a chore just to play with each other, especially after how easy it was with the PSS. It was mind-boggling. I'm sure Gen 8 or 9, I'm hoping it makes it easier, but it worked so easily, and it's worth mentioning, especially after how much they fucked it in Generation 7. Leading into that, Wondertrade. Once again, not unique to Gen 6, was the first, it worked well. I'm very glad it's a main staple, because it damn well should be, and it is brilliant out the gate. Like I said, not unique to Gen 6, but another reason why I loved it. It was brilliant out the gate, and I still think it's one of, if not the best decision Game Freak has ever made with these games.
Hey, quick side note, this video is technically unfinished. Just want to be fully transparent. I recorded this back in March last year, and I wanted to try and get it out before new Legends ZA news came out, but with Pokemon Presents being tomorrow is the time I'm making this, my time's kind of up. So the video of me talking and everything I wanted to say, at least at that time, is all in here, so if you want to keep watching that, you still can. I just ran out of time to do all the little extra title animations and video cut-ins and all that, but I didn't want what I'd made so far to just completely go to waste, so I thought I'll release at least what I've got. It's not exactly how I wanted it to be, but I didn't want this to just be thrown in the bin in a sense. So I appreciate you watching up until this point. If you still want to watch or borderline listen to the rest of this video, I really appreciate that, and I hope you enjoy.
My last 2 reasons are personal, and I mean that less, it's an opinion piece, of course it's personal, but as in it's less about the games themselves and more sort of the right place, right time kind of thing, but I just want to mention them because those experiences are part of the reason why I love Gen 6. Firstly, competitive. The tail off of Generation 5 is when I learned about EVs, which if you don't know effort values, it's a whole thing, I won't get into it here. And that was a big moment, but Generation 6 was when everything kind of unlocked. EVs, IVs, natures, smoke on, special split, it just everything kind of unlocked. And the battle that sort of unlocked everything for me was when I was battling my very good friend Matt, shout out to him, he's the reason I got into all of this, was when he brought his Sword Stance, Sucker Punch, Mega Mawile and just swept my entire team. I was just like, how was I meant to defeat that? And he explained about also the priority, having to use attacking moves stuff, and it just like unlocked my third eye and I finally like clicked with everything. I was like, there's so much to this game to explore. And then after that I was hooked. I was looking on Smogon, building new builds, doing tons and tons of breeding. I made so many competitively ready Pokemon, or like, I say like as viable as I can make them with like maxed out IVs, EVs and all that. And watching the tears and being sad, but understanding why my homeboy Greninja got placed on Ubers. And me and Matt would just play every day on the bus to school. We would have so many battles. It was brilliant. And even on other times on the bus where we'd, sit and chat as friends do, we would do that while hatching Pokemon eggs, especially when we were trying to hatch shinies. Matt was even there next to me when I hatched my first shiny Froakie, which had fucking torrent. The only sort of downside from that was that, aside from Matt, none of my other more casually playing friends could really compete against me anymore. Like, my Pokemon were just objectively better. They had better stats, abilities, min-maxed. I knew the type chart like the back of my hand, and I mean, a lot of them didn't even know about the physical special split. Like, it's not their fault, but yeah, I was just naturally more likely to win. I just had more information in my brain, which was a shame, but like, I mean, it happens. But those more casually playing friends kind of lead me to my last point. And this final point was kind of the whole reason I made this video, which is free-for-alls. Free-for-alls in Gen 6, I don't know how they are in Gen 8 and 9, as I keep saying, were beautiful. I don't know how else to describe it. It was like pure bliss. And if you missed out, I'm sorry, but I'll explain it. So it was very simple. You just had you, 3 of your friends in a multi-battle, and it's a free-for-all. You just see who survives. As you may know, they added an official free-for-all mode in Generation 7, which was fucking dog water, for 2 main reasons. In the official one, as soon as one person lost all of their Pokemon, battle's over, which sucked. And then the other one is that the winner was decided on who had the most kills, or knockouts or whatever. And those 2 things fundamentally completely changed the vibe from the multi-battle free-for-alls. While obviously multi-battles did come with the downside that if like you and the other person on your side both had Pokemon left, the battle would end because it is just a multi-battle at the end of the day. The mindset completely changes because it's more about assessing the threat, making alliances, and most importantly, surviving. A choice specs Discharge Xurkitree winning an official free-for-all is dull as bones. But a Wooper just standing and watching everyone else just annihilate themselves and standing there victorious at the end it's just beautiful. I don't know how else to say it. It's magical. It's so much fun. I have not experienced the sheer level of fun I have had playing those free-for-alls, and I don't think I will again. I will forever treasure the memories I made playing this game mode with my friend groups. Like, for example, I had this Aron named Paul, and he was adamant, max attack, max HP, choice band, Rockhead. What was it? Head smash Rockhead, yeah. And he one-shotted a Charizard, which, I mean, it's 4 times effective. Probably would have done it without all of that, but whatever. And then from that point onwards, if I ever brought Paul into a free-for-all, he'd immediately get targeted as the threat. Like, there could be an Arceus next to him, and they'd always attack the Paul. As I said, I played it with the 2 friend groups I mentioned earlier, and one of them we played weekly. It was free-for-all Fridays. We had a little Discord server specifically made for the free-for-alls. We'd have weekly themes, like, oh, these are the things we've got to bring next. And in the week leading up to it, in between school, I would read and prepare, like, teams of Pokemon, like, bring new ones, and it was amazing. It was just so fun. And there are Pokemon, like, there's, like, the stuff that I would have made if it wasn't for these free-for-alls, like a team of Little Cup Pokemon, or, like, maxed out middle evolutions, or even just, there are general Pokemon that I have strong attachments to now, that I probably wouldn't have if it wasn't for the free-for-alls. For example, Golurk, which I called Golug, which is, I want to say it's like the Japanese name, probably wrong, but either way. Aside from having, like, a fun name and stuff like that, and that I would always say whenever I attack them, going, Golug, and then you just get the occasional chance that you just absolutely annihilate someone with Choice Banded Iron Fist. It was just, it was beautiful. It was so much fun. Like, I know I keep saying that, like, oh, it's beautiful, oh, it's fun, but it's the most amount of fun I have ever had playing a video game. And I don't think anything will actually top that. And I love a lot of games. And I said, Gen 6 isn't technically my favorite gen, at least from a single player standpoint, but I love it. And while I think there was always a part of my brain that hoped, you know, we'd always do some free-for-alls in the future, or we'd do it like one last time kind of thing, but no, it's done. It's over. The online is shut down, I'm pretty sure. Bank is soon to close, I think, if it's not already by the time this video comes out. And most importantly, myself and my friends are just at completely different points in our lives now. We all work full time. Hell, I'm married with 2 kids. Like, it's just, yeah, it's done. But it's sad that it's over. But it was a privilege to be a part of something that good, something that fun. I will forever hold the memories I have made during Generation 6. And for that, it will always be magical to me. And nothing will ever change that. Thank you so much for watching. Is it better? Or is it worse? Who can tell? Generation 6 was magical.